So I wanted to do a couple of videos yesterday, um, but, but my phone froze. Uh, Everything out here is starting to freeze. It's 20 degrees outside right now, and it's 20 degrees at 9 in the morning. Let me catch you up on what all happened yesterday. I hiked out to where I wanted to hunt, and I glassed around for a while, and I was really starting to give up. And a wolf came into view, really far out there. I mean, 100%, it was beyond my skill level to be able to shoot that wolf. But I was so frustrated, and I didn't want to go home empty-handed. It really sucks to spend this many days away from your family in the cold and go through all this effort and have nothing to show for it, like not even a wolf pelt. So I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and I'll take a shot at this wolf. And I went to use my rangefinder so I could see how much my bullet was going to drop. It was fucked up. I couldn't see anything out of the rangefinder, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just kind of wing it, based on how big the wolf looks at different zoom levels on my scope. And when I took the covers off my scope for my rifle, I didn't realize that the hood on my jacket kind of acted as a cone and was pushing the air onto the scope and then would immediately freeze. So one breath and that's all it took, and it was a really compromised field of view. I zoomed in and I took a look at the wolf, and damn it, I wanted that wolf, so I took a shot, reloaded. The wolf was still there, kind of running, so I know I hadn't injured him. And he turned around and stopped and looked at me like, what was that? Well, if you're gonna stop and look, I'm gonna shoot again. And this time I tried to raise my sights a little bit higher so that the bullet could drop, maybe hit him, because I knew he was even further away now, and I missed again. And the same thing happened a third time. Out of sheer frustration, I could barely see out of the scope. It was too terribly far away. I was also shivering. I drank some water when I got up to my spot, and that really cold soaked me because the water was icy cold. In fact, it had froze several times on the way up, and I had to put it against my back to be able to warm it up as I was hiking. 3 shots from my 30-06, and that wolf just danced away merrily, and that was that. So at that point, I had one more round for my 30-06. Rookie hunter mistake to only take what you could basically load into your rifle and not take in any extra ammunition. My magazine holds 3, and I put an extra one in there, like, yeah, 4 rounds, Literally every time I've ever been hunting, I've only needed the 1 shot for what I've killed from my 30-06 or my 10 mil. And and that's not bragging, but that's just a matter of those conditions were great. I generally only try and take a shot when I know that I can make it, when I know that I can connect with it and where I want to. Hitting something where you don't want it to hit, like in the belly or something like that, where it's not going to die right away. It might not die for 2 days. You don't want an animal to suffer like that. That's not the purpose of hunting. The purpose of hunting really ought to be to put meat in the freezer, and maybe get some cool blankets and rugs from your big predators, your bears and your wolves. Not to say that I wouldn't eat a bear or wolf. I would definitely try it. So I was like, all right, well, that's it. I'm gonna turn around and go back. I was about 7 miles away from the highway, so I had a ways to go, and I only had 1 shot, and I hadn't seen any caribou close enough all day, or the day before for that matter. So I said, okay, I'll head on back then. And it was about that time of day anyway. I want to say it was 4 o'clock or so. And on my way back, I'm not even kidding, a whole herd of caribou. Like a large herd. There must have been 50 caribou, and they're just walking. So instinctively, I dropped to the ground. I don't know if it was just military training or if it's a matter of, you know, you see an animal you want to hide. You know, I don't know where it came from, but I immediately dropped to the ground, pulled my rifle off my back, lined up a shot, and realized I had some time. Either they hadn't seen me. The wind was definitely in my favor. The wind was in my face. So that's one important thing that you try and get when you're hunting. If the wind is blowing into your face, that means that any smells are going away from whatever it is that you're looking at. And that could help me a little bit. I don't know if they saw me, but they definitely, I don't think they could have smelled me with the way the wind was blowing. So I thought to myself, I could take my time. I can pick one out. I can make sure that they're male. I can even, you know, look at how close I think they might go based on their direction and everything that they were heading. And I did. I needed that time actually too, because my heart was just racing. That whole buck fever, I had never experienced it before, and I got massively excited. I finally picked one and I took the shot, and the rest of the herd moved on, and he stayed there, and he started walking for a bit. He was too hurt to run with the herd, and I think the herd knew it, which was a little sad. You know, I mean, it is a living thing. And I caught up to him, and I gave him a mercy shot with my 10 mil. I didn't want him to suffer, and I really ran to catch up with him too, because even walking, they are fast. And it wasn't a matter of I was worried he was going to get away, because I looked down and I could see a blood trail, so I knew he was bleeding out fast. But I felt that shouldn't suffer. So I gave him the mercy shot once I got within range for my pistol. Within my range for my pistol. I'm sure that has an excellent range. And I put him down. The next several hours, I want to say at least 2 hours or so, I was quartering him up, putting him in bags. And I had 6 game bags and my, the antlers, you know, kind of the trophy, you know, which isn't, you know, that much more weight. My bag and my rifle is kind of a full load, but I could put 2 game bags over my shoulder, and I could walk about 100 paces at a time. And then I'd set everything down, and I'd go back, and I took trip after trip after trip, where I just kind of leapfrog the stuff, so I wouldn't, you know, the game bags and my stuff, so that I wouldn't lose track of it, because it's the Arctic and it's thousands and thousands of acres of frozen, you know, hills. So at a certain point, it started getting dark, and I realized that I was exhausted, and so I was like, well, I'll just sit down and I'll take a rest for a few minutes. And I thought to myself, man, this would be a great place for a nap. And that's when I realized that I could die out there. Had I actually taken a nap out of exhaustion and everything else, I could have woke up dead. I never woke up. I could have woke up with frostbite, severe frostbite, fingers, toes, nose, who knows, just really bad situation. That's when I got up and I decided to leave the meat where it was. So it's within the 5 miles now, and so I'm hoping, well, I counted actually, I think mostly to keep myself sane at that time, but I counted 2,200 roughly paces from the meet to here. And I'm hoping that no wolves have eaten it. I'm hoping that it's still intact, and I'm hoping that I can find it. I've decided to take the sled today. I know. Decided to take the sled and retrieve the meat that way. I'm all out of food that I can take and eat. Everything has to have boiled water on it. And I'm not going to take all the stuff to be able to boil it. So it's kind of a one meal operation. I'm eating breakfast right now, late because it's 9 o'clock. And I'm going to head out the 2,200 paces, however far that is, and get it. I boiled water this morning. It came out as like a slush and ice and everything, but I boiled water this morning, so I actually have liquid. I'm gonna drink what water I can before I go. I'm gonna eat 3 servings of breakfast, just to make sure that I'm good and full. And I'm gonna drag that sled, which is one of the last things I wanted to do, but it's better than trying to carry all that meat. It is a lot of meat, and I'm curious to see when I get home and actually weigh it, how much everything weighs. Wish me luck. I'm gonna need it. That's a lot of miles to travel. It's a lot of meat to carry, and it's a very, very cold environment. Thanks.